Hey everyone, it's another episode of the Miata DIY guy. Today we are going to be replacing the power steering pressurized line as well as the return line.
With the car being 29 years old and having over 214,000 miles on the engine, we figured it was time to replace these two hoses. Also, we noticed a lot of buildup of dirt and grease, leading us to assume there was a leak here. If your engine is dirty, we recommend you degrease before starting this installation. This top nut requires a 12mm socket. And for this other top nut, we used an adjustable wrench. So we removed this top nut from the pressurized line, and now we're going to remove this hose clamp from the return line.
There we go.
We believed our power steering lines were leaking, but there was still some fluid left in the line, so make sure you have a little catch bucket when you remove the return line.
So here's the old return line. You know, it's very beat up and it has this really annoying pinch clip. So we're going to replace that with a new screw type clip, one of these guys. And then here's our new return line. So for the pressurized line, right here inside the chassis, there's a little bolt for this bracket right here. There's a bolt in there we have to remove. And then the pressurized line is behind this dust boot cover. We'll have to come in through the top. Right here, I'm trying to point with my screwdriver because it's gonna be really hard to film, but it's in there is the bolt for the pressurized line. So what we're looking at here, we tried accessing this bolt from under the car and the angle wasn't good. So what you need to do, we got this long 17mm wrench, which is what fits the bolt, and using different spaces that were available to us, we were able to get it around the threads of the bolt and just crack it a little bit loose each turn. And then the second way we did it to get more leverage was to go behind the radiator hose like so, and then turn it again. So right now the bolt is loose. We can take it off by hand, but it's really hard to access through the bottom of the car actually. So we found out going to the top was better, just using the various access points and making sure you use a 17mm wrench. Now we're going to remove the pressurized line. And replace it with our new pressurized line. You will need an adjustable, unless you have the right size wrench, which we do not, you will need a adjustable wrench for this. Let's see if we can hand tighten that first. Okay, it's pretty tight.
One quick tip is if you install the two top nuts first, it makes it much easier to thread the lower nut into the power steering rack. One thing to note about the lower threaded nut into the power steering rack is it takes a little bit of finesse and patience to get into the right spot, but once you do, just start slowly turning it inward with your 17mm wrenches. After you install the pressurized line, all you have to do is install the return line using two hose clamps.
So we opted to go with the Royal Purple Max Easy Power Steering Fluid. It's synthetic and it says it's got conditioners in it and high performance, which is what we're going for. So we're going to fill up with this and see how far we get. A lot of fluid came out, so we may need to top off more later, but we're going to first add this to the reservoir.
After we topped off the fluid, we took her for a nice engine bath. If you have any questions about the install or parts in this video, please leave a comment below. And if you need any parts, like the ones in this video, head over to MazdaMiata.com. They have all the parts you might need from the 1990 Miata to the current generation.